The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is spending too much on Phablets for testing. And our guest speaker today is Muralidhar Yalla. He is a solution architect automation at Mindtree Limited. Muralidhar is a Bachelor of Engineering ECE, Satyamamba College, Chennai University. His professional experience includes 14 plus years experience in IT industry with over 10 years in test automation, solution architect since 2007, designing and developing various automation frameworks, leading assignments in test automation consulting and framework design and development initiatives. His strengths are creating cost-effective solutions using open source technologies, integrated end-to-end automation solution design, including CI, GUI, and non-GUI layers of automation, test management and automation strategy consulting, testing harness setup, effort estimation, and automation metrics. He has 8 plus years of experience in innovation, architected and designed open source based frameworks for web, desktop, and mobile applications using Selenium or Java, Qtp, Robotium, native driver, driven automation initiative from scratch, and accelerating test automation, ROI, architected automation, solution for SWA, BBC, Yahoo, etc. Developing end-to-end automation strategy and design, authored the solution for SWA, winning white paper at STC QAI 2009 forum for the plug and play integrated test automation framework. And he is a proud winner of Mindtree Citizen Award, Mindtree Role Model Manager, Mindtree Coach, and Mindtree 10 on 10. He is also active in various testing forums and has presented and published several white papers, technical articles, lightning talks, and blogs. Example QI, Step-In, Cisco iExpo. So, without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Murli.
Thanks, TechGig, and thanks, Aradhana, for the short introduction.
You're most welcome, Murli. So,
good afternoon. I'm Murli. Thanks everyone for joining today's topic on are you spending too much on your Phablets for testing needs. Briefly, today's presentation part would cover the trends and the pain areas around mobility. Phablets is mobiles plus smartphones plus tablets. We will also cover the factors influencing cost, various attributes, the demand and the needs from the customer side and the supply from the services industry or from the tool vendors and so on and so forth. Requirement analysis, how do we scope out or scope in some of the requirements which with respect to costing and things like that. So people, process, device, tools, over these attributes benefiting in common to the cost benefits. I hope I'm audible to everyone, and followed by one of the automation framework called mSAF. mSAF stands for my mobile scriptless automation framework. Its architecture and bird's eye view of the solution, value proposition, followed by key takeaways. All right. Thanks again. Moving on to the presentation slide. I'm in the slide called Trends and Pain Areas, the rocketing costs. When we talk about trends, there are various statistics from Gartner, IDC, WKR, right? So this is application downloads have increased from 62 billion, right, in 2012 to 102 billion in 2013, and it's anticipated or predicted by WQR to 182.7 billion downloads of these applications. So there is close to 1 billion devices sold in the year 2013. This is a report by Gartner source. 55% of all devices sold were found to be smartphones across the worldwide. So 55% reported active testing mobile applications in the year 2013. So it's been testing has been very good in this year, and it's still growing. So 91% of free apps were downloaded in 2013 as well. So these are the trends which clearly indicate, right? Mobile boom should be obvious to everyone. Phablets are primary method of interaction for consumers and business worldwide. Okay, so I mean, if you look at it, the slide, which you can see now, which has the complexity, the pain areas, right? So what's the challenges here is it's a OS fragmentation you can see, then the middle layer, which is the carriers and various modes of connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and then your operating system, which is Android, iOS, RAIN for BlackBerry and Windows Symbian feature phones, and various devices ranging from different devices, from tablets to phablets. So here, where do I start looking from? So if I'm going to develop my application, which is my intended audience, right? What is analytics to say about? Which tools can be used for what and when, right? So in case, if you look at this, the development is a challenge, plus the testing as well. Be it agile or be it the lean model, always we intend to start early. However, the gamut of the complexity is because of its matrix, which you see here, the combination, which adds more to the complexity and the costs which involved in testing this. All right. So moving on to the next slide, which says factors influencing the cost. One of the things which you see on the right side is your form factor. There's various screen sizes which vary from 128 pixel, and probably you can think about various devices, the big screens as well, 1000 pixels as well. So the varied size in the form factors is also adding up to the complexity in which the device coverage needs to be done, either by manually or by automation. Right. So in the past itself, right. So if you look at the layers of mobile here, there are 15 plus networks, million plus handsets, 8 plus platforms, and it's growing, 9 plus browsers, 6 plus application frameworks, millions of applications, right, billions probably in coming next years, and 30 plus service providers, and out of which we see there are some platforms dead in the past 10 years. Right? So there are too many form factors. Here's the confused end user, confused customers. So how do we reduce this complexity, and how we enable to bring the cost to a lower and increase it in keeping the coverage to the maximum, right? Test coverage to the maximum. So the one more factor which I want to bring here is no more customer is looking for a single application, but he's also looking at the ease of use of the application. One of the example I can see is on a lighter side, my daughter is 3.5 years old. She uses the iPad, she goes to the settings, changes the brightness, and then opens a temple run, right, and then plays it. And now she expects the same experience to be on my laptop as well. So she tries to touch the laptop screen, and ask Daddy, why is this not opening the icon, right? So that's the experience which customers is also expecting in the near coming days. I mean, once you log in into your web application on desktop, watching some cricket, you pause it there, continue on your mobile phones, then continue on your tablets or tablets when you reach back home, right? So that is the kind of experience is what is expected, and that becomes more end-to-end. automation and testing, manual testing needs, right? So moving on to the next slide. The slide is talking about the various types of applications: native applications, hybrid applications, and mobile web applications. To understand in a easier way, native applications are like a binary files that comes as an, in case of Android, it is APK, and iPhones it's IPAs and COVs, and it's all binary files that you can imagine, right? Native applications. Web applications are basically your HTML applications. HTML5 is catching up these days because of its cross-platform and omni nature of it. And then you have your hybrid applications, which is a combination of your binaries plus your HTMLs, right? So this is a slide which is a source from Worklight. My interest in this slide would be, if you look at it, the cost for development, right, with respect to native applications will be expensive because you'll have to manage different various versions of the source code within a platform of a particular OS, as well as various OSs that you intend to target for your audience, right? And definitely if it's going to be OS specific, you'll have to have multiple OS versions of your softwares being SDKs, and then you need to maintain. The cost will be much higher in comparison with hybrid and web applications, in which hybrid is relatively reasonable because all you'll have is an icon which you see on your desktops or your mobile desktops, and then all it will do is it will connect to the web inside using a WebKit or web container. So the objective here in this slide is, if you are trying to build an application, right, what is that I'm going to build? Is it a mobile application, hybrid application, or a native application? And we have seen most of the recent customers are preferring hybrid or mobile because of fragmented nature of the native applications. Of course, native applications has its own advantage. It's very fast in its nature, the speed wise. However, the web, you'll have some performance issues. However, the expected turnaround time, if you're looking at performance side, it should be 3 seconds to 5 seconds in which the page should be loaded. And the designing aspects, the UX side, should be taken care because your application needs to be light in weight, low, small size images to be used, and the same experience has to be across all the browsers. Going on to the next slide, which is the supply and demand. So what I mean by supply and demand, right? So to achieve success, continuous investing in the mobile lab, and keep testing natural skills. We have to improve our natural skills, technical skills. So all these technical skills, tools is at the one side, and the demand, the application development from the customer side is the other side. So for the demand, you will have various technologies that you'll have to in your forefront to choose for developing an application. And you would have your automation needs in place because time to market is the biggest aspect. And obviously, when there is time to market, it's no more roadmaps and project test plans. It is probably a racetracks. You're running behind time, and then you obviously see the need for automating some of your most of your test cases, and which in turn demands skills. And there is mobile users. As per analytics, you'll find the number of users across the particular vertical. And then the supply. So supply-wise, if you look at it, we have people. There's a need for people to be trained, skills to be improved, keep on doing innovations, find new methodologies, ways, processes, and to handle the various challenges across platforms from the supply side. And there's a large gamut of devices that you'll have to address as well for testing needs. So device is also a bigger challenge, the availability of the devices, and we usually prefer to access devices locally as well as on the cloud, and sometimes rarely in the wild as well. So I would touch base on these points more elaborately during the next course of presentation. However, right, so if you look at it, what's the objectives? Cost-effective solution for your application testing needs is my objective, right? And there can be priorities, right? Every objective needs to have some priorities, and scoping of application testing requirements is important. Always you will have to strike a deal between the number of requirements that you would like to push into this current release. In case if you have prioritization, it will help you to put the P1s into this backlogs, P1s into the current release, and remain into the backlogs for the next releases. Then the solution. So solution will have to build custom solution, because there's no one single tool which will solve all our problems. Okay, so there is no one automation tool which can solve all the automation requirements, be it web services, be it performance, be it security, be it various layers within this. So we'll have to do some customizations around this. So we'll have to build some user management, device management solutions within premises, on premises as a lab, and obviously lab comes with a cost, right? So if at all lab is coming with a cost, then what is the optimal set of devices that I'll have to go with, right? So in case I'm going for an iOS devices, we prefer the N and N-1 version should be good for testing. And in case if you are going for Android, probably N-3 is good to go. It means up to 2.2 Android. So BlackBerry is again N-2. Then Windows is N-1. So the current version -1 is what we prefer. That's where the striking of the prioritization of your devices and the costing would come in. So going on to the next slide, which is requirement analysis. Per se, there is automation as one of your requirement, because time to market is the key. In such case, you'll have to prioritize what is the applications and audience, intended platform, right? Look at your analytics, right? So it shows trends, and accordingly you can decide, investment-wise, how many of the devices you can procure, or how many of them you can go onto the cloud. There are various cloud providing solutions available, which are cost-effective. You can go for the hourly packages and bundles. So this is a slide which talks about your objectives. And then objectives can be many, and in that you have to prioritize the AS needs. So let's prioritize. Automation framework is a requirement objectives. So automation framework needs to address the primary two operating systems, Android and iOS, right? So keeping cost in mind, and then probably the next requirement would be virtual devices. That means remotely you can connect to a device, right, and then execute it. That allows various teams within the organization to reuse the device availability, whichever is available. For that, you'll have to build a user management module, which I've told in the previous slide. So you can build a user management where you can block the available devices within your lab, and then yeah, how to set up a lab and all, we can discuss if you're interested. However, the prioritization goes this way. Then this stays the ends for behavior-driven test automation framework for a particular OS or various operating systems is also good to have and recommended so that you'll have a continuous usage by the EAS community to the testing community to the dev community, and so it's all connected. So BDD is catching up. There are various tools for language, Cucumber, JBehaved, and so on and so forth. So objectives are clear now. Suppose this is the requirements that we have for automation, and there might be many more. Right? So we have prioritized. These are my 3 top things that are. And within that, you will have to identify what is the automation framework features that you give for, and what kind of things, keeping people, process, device, tools in mind. Right? So when I say people, the skills within your organization, the processes which needs to be customized in case it is required, devices, availability of the devices, and probably in case you are need of more devices, you'll have to procure more devices, and the various tools available in the market. This is another challenge, right? So on top of existing gamut of fragmentation available on OS platform, browsers, and things like that, you also have too many tools to decide in which way you have to go. And every tool has a purpose, and we have recommended tools based on the need and the application and its ecosystem. So we will talk about various tools as well. Prioritization comes with the features, like you make a laundry list of features, and then you say, yes, I'm going with this, or no, I'm not going with this, but in the later releases, I'll be working on these releases. Accordingly, you work on your P1 objectives, and then inbuild such features into your automation framework. As I said, some of the tools are open source tools are not completely supporting some of the APIs, the gestures, landscape, portrait things. So we will have to customize such things. So you'll have to have a flavor of combining more than one tool as per the need. So a hybrid model is preferred. So keep your frameworks open, architected so as you can plug and play, right? You can change the drivers as and when you need. However, the framework in the discussion, which is called Mobile Stripless Automation Framework, is intended for the end users with less programming skills. They can write in an English-like algorithm in an Excel spreadsheet, and then probably write the automation test cases onto Android or iOS. Various tools, drivers can be plugged in the backend, switched in as possible. So it's an on-premises solution. It can be pushed onto a cloud as well with web interface and things like that. So this is how you'll have to think about prioritizing when it comes to the cost and its benefits. As I said, there are tools, commercial and open source tools. The Device Anywhere, Perfecto Mobile are the cloud-based solutions. There are various open source tools available. There are licensed tools available. Every tool has its pros and cons. So at Mindtree, we have particularly devised all these years with various tool combination metrics with a detailed evaluation with criteria in which we use that based on requirement. Per se, if you have a requirement of, it's a bit of unusual requirement, only multiple APKs are there within an Android application which you'll have to navigate, then the tools you'll have to evaluate, and probably you'll find that there is no good tool in the open source world, and at that time you take a call to go for licensed tools, right? And probably some of the tools which we propose to customers in such areas are Renorex, and which is good in that area, whereas Calabash has some issues in multiple case. However, we can do some tweaks as it is open source and things like that. We have built the various accelerators within Mindtree for the mobile space, for mBrowser for various form factor testing, remote droid for accessing remote devices for manual testers, and mSAF is for automation of native and web. HTAF stands for Hybrid Test Automation Framework, built on top of HP UFT, and it supports both HP JAMO solutions, which is by MuX plugin, and then it also supports Perfecto Mobile. Perfecto these days have come with its own automation solution, which is integrated with HP UFT. So you record your tests and run on to the Perfecto cloud. So which is also a cost-effective and good solution and in case of your complex application challenges if you have. So MonkeyTalk is also doing really good with respect to hybrid applications. It covers native as well as web applications. WebDriver is doing good in the area of mobile web, mobile native. However, it has a little bit of glitches with respect to hybrid applications and the consistency in various versions of the WebDriver for both Android driver and iPhone drivers. iOS driver is also in picture, and then the plans to integrate them into the next version of WebDriver. So it's good. Overall, the challenges are there enough, and then you have a plethora of tools to confuse you more and choose on choosing which tool I go with for my given application and what should I propose to my customer, right? So, so that's essence of this slide. And then, as you see, we have a toolkit in place, and it's a toolbox of 15 plus tools in this area. We have P-Watch, which helps for testing for coming out with the performance of your application at a component level and at an application level. PF is it looks more at a holistic picture with respect to your services and so on. And we still have utilities in pipeline which caters to the gamut of mobile space. On a slide, mobile scriptless automation framework. As I said, it uses an Excel type spreadsheet, and the solution is tied up with open source tools. As we know, no single open source tool is complete. We have extended on our own custom APIs in the generic frameworks which we developed, keeping the engines as is. Whichever the switching of the engines in the backend. In fact, the framework architecture, the plug and play, has been awarded in the QA conference 2009. So it's the same framework which is now being used for mobile space as well. So end user gets to log into its to a web browser, chooses devices in the lab, and reserves on-premises whatever the device is available, and there is a option to selectively execute your test cases, prioritize your test cases, and run your test cases in groups or single, sequential, or in parallel. So overall, the solution helped us to bring down the cost of automation in investing towards the licensed tools, plus the skills which demands for automation tools is also being reduced. So we here in Mindtree we have many people trained on tool SAF, and we have many customers within Mindtree on SAF, which is primarily used for web browsers, cross-browser testing, as well as the same thing is now extended towards mobile, which is doing good. So the couple of components which in this framework allows us to give the plug-and-play nature is the node listeners in green color you can see, in which you can change the drivers at the back on the fly, and then because of this nature, I'll tell you an excellent scenario for one of our hotel industry customer. The scenario has to first call a web services, then go to the desktop, do some operation in the web browser, then go to the mobile device and do the final checkout of the hotel. So this was quite possible because it was able to switch drivers in the backend and using the same interface, right? And the skills required are very low because the end user is no more worried about what is my Robotium APIs, what is my WebDriver APIs, what is my web services things. I don't know Ruby, I don't know Java, I don't know Ruby, right? So there is a challenge, right, to the end user, which has been taken care by this framework. And the end-to-end automation of this scenario is quite appreciated as well. The framework supports Android, iOS, and Windows version 4, 5, and 6, not more than that, because Windows is a sandbox and the solution is particularly for Windows is premature as well. However, for Android and iOS is object-based mechanism. For Windows, it's image-based mechanism, which we have used for one of our customers, which is a handheld device built on Windows OS. So the various reporting, it spits out an XML detailed logs that we can pull out to the end user with screenshots and many features, as we have seen in the earlier slide, the features of the framework that we have considered. So with this, I think I have close to covered whatever I planned to cover. So I will talk about the solution value proposition, bird's eye view. What we have tried to eliminate here. How is the cost being reduced, right? So software installation, maintenance of licensed tools, investment on hardware, software is now concentrated at one place in lab and then not distributed across projects and across geos. We also do some part of the testing on cloud as you really require in network testing and which is not always possible when you're in a lab kind of environment. So reduced per user license cost, dependency on skilled people, learning curve, on online connected during execution, and that means you can log off once you submit your executions and then log in from any device, be it your smartphones, be it your tablets, be it your desktops, you get your results on back onto the same thing. So that's where the framework brings in. And what we have increased is the ease of use, right? Now the people, the engineers do not have to worry about too many technologies, tools, and things like that. However, we have specific frameworks also built for all the licensed and open source tools. In fact, I have authored or architected frameworks over coded UI, LearnerX, UFT, right? So be it, name a tool, we have architecture frameworks and they were successful and appreciated. So Mindtree on the whole has a lot of skills in all these automation areas. We have a dedicated team who takes care of innovation and which concentrates on the solution value proposition. As I said, this solution also creates execution anywhere, anytime, right? So you can kickstart while on your move. When you're driving, you can kickstart your automation scripts from your mobile, and then come back and then see your results. So concurrent remote execution is possible, silent execution is possible with this solution. I hope I was able to deliver what I was expected. Definitely, I may not be an expert in all the areas of mobile, which is a vast field, but however, I'm open to take questions if you have any in this specific area.
Yes, thanks for the
Aradhana, over to
insightful
you for
presentation.
questions.
Sure. So let's quickly take up the questions now. I request you to read out the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to your insights. Are you able to see the questions?
Yeah. So the first question is from Vivek Shinde. Any tool for mobile testing? So as I said, there are too many tools already in the complex field of mobile, which which we will have to evaluate. And Mindtree has devised a mechanism to evaluate with a weighted approach. We have 70 odd fields against which we jump onto the tool which we see in the market and then evaluate them. Accordingly, we give a weighted ratings, and based on the prioritized need, we asked the customers what are your top 10 things that you would like to see in your automation tool, right, to cater for, and then the remaining, all the 60 will be an optional things, right? So based on that, the weightages will be varying. However, as I said, there are many tools for mobile testing, both licensed as well as open source, and particularly for beginners, I would say go with open source tools who can install it easily. MonkeyTalk is a good record playback tool, fun to learn. You become a quick automation savvy with such kind of tools, and then you also can use WebDriver, iPhone driver, native drivers, which require Java skills, of course. So the second question is Pradeep Ravi, who's having a question is with how good is Perfecto Mobile? Right? So definitely Perfecto Mobile has a fast device and the geo coverage, and then comparatively, I can say the tools which it offers and the add-ons, the plugins which is offering with the licensed tools like UFT is pretty aggressive, and we have personally evaluated Perfecto, and then we found it reasonably good when we have automated using UFT and Perfecto plugins. So there is a question from Chandan. I am from mobile apps testing hybrid. Is it possible to use the framework designed by you in your company for mobile apps testing? Yes, definitely mobile app testing, you can use it. However, as I said, hybrid application has a challenge with respect to automation in switching from the native view to a web view. So there we will have to play a little tweaking code, which is probably the challenge for you, and that's where you have asked this question to me. But there is a way out. You will have to use the previous versions, which is the stable versions of the WebDriver, and then try to switch between the native view to a web view, and you will be able to handle the hybrid nature of the hybrid applications. There's a question from Manoj. How good is TechGig Test Studio for mobile testing? Yes, it is very good testing. TechGig is catching up, though the number of customer acceptances is more towards open source. However, TechGig is definitely doing good, and it has so far proven good. So this is a question from Venkat. Any tool you suggest for doing performance test on both desktop and tablet? So yeah, as I said, we have devised certain performance testing tools using JMeter, using NeoLoad, using something called a custom framework which we have developed called PWatch, and there are quite a bit of tools out there. Even the cloud-based tools, Perfecto Mobile Device Anywhere also have plugins which will help you to gauge the performance of your applications. If you are specifically looking for open source tools, you will have to customize what is available. However, there are licensed tools available. like UFT, right, and Perfecto, which are good, ready to use for you. Case. There are more questions coming in. In fact,
Yes.
pouring in. So I was just taking a break. Okay. So there was a question from Prashant. How good is the tool you are referring to? Better than Appium? That's a good question. In fact, Prashant, Appium, we faced a bit of challenges when we were trying with the hybrid applications. However, we were successful with web and the native, but you don't find ready-made gestures, APIs, the pinch zoom, and the smartphone things, the touch things, ready to use kind of API with APM. Right, so the framework which we have devised, yes, definitely we have enhanced or customized these APIs on top of what is available. So, as I said, there is no good tool for all this in the open source tool. So you'll have to specifically for gesture. So you will have to customize and develop your libraries on top of it. I hope I answered Prashant. Milind, can Selenium tool be used for mobile app testing? Yes, definitely. 2.0 is having drivers, and it can be used for both mobile web and native, and to some extent hybrid applications as well. You will have to look for Selenium 2.0 web driver with native driver and iPhone driver for the same. Hiran Maya, can we go with C-test? Yes, for mobile app testing. Yes, as I said, C-test is also a good tool. So you'll have to definitely have a checklist, a prioritized thing. What is the application that you are going to automate? Is it one application or multiple applications within your organization? Then do a wise investment before going ahead, because good tools, licensed tools obviously have some very good features in comparison to open source tools. My answer would be the same. Do your wise evaluation with the criteria required. Manish Shinde, which is best open source tool for Android app testing? Yeah, it's Robotium, undoubtedly, right? And then Robotium has been proposed to multiple customers within Mindtree, and they are successful. Of course, when you go with Robotium, you don't have an option to automate other operating systems, be it iOS or anything. So if you're looking only for Android, Robotium is a good choice. Good question. Pradeep. So what is the one cloud solution which can satisfy manual testing, automation, and performance as well? So there's no single shoe which fits your need. However, there's cloud solutions available which comes with a cost, lower cost in comparison with setting up your own in-house labs. So there is Perfecto Mobile and Device Anywhere are definitely the market leaders, and there are many more cloud providers as well. So you can choose either of them. If cost is concerned, then you can get the pricing list from either of them. But feature-wise, I would say both are equally good. And at Mindtree, we have used both of these tools executed with Perfecto as well. Sachin Kumar. How much is the acceptance of cloud testing tools in the market? Yeah, definitely. If you're looking at the acceptance with respect to cloud, there is a fraction of a doubt with respect to the security of your application being opened out to a public cloud. So nowadays the solutions which have also offer you a private clouds. So in case if you are dealing with banking application, you don't have to worry. You can ask for a private cloud setup. So you know that comes with the cost, but of course it is a wise investment. However, if security is not a concern, then still yes, it is going forward. The cloud is a cheaper solution, and not only cloud can address your geo, non-geo aspects, but you know, some fraction of the test cases also you can give it to the wild. When I say some kind of you know, beta testing, you can give it to areas like U-test, which the actual real end users with real varied operating systems, you know, to get a chance to test your applications, which obviously not possible in your in-house control environments of your labs or on the clouds. So there's a question from Amol Srivastav. What are the future challenges in mobile testing? Right. So the future challenges is the most worry is right. So there are days when we used to write APIs for keyboard and mouse. Now days have changed. We are writing APIs for touch, zoom in, pinch, and things like that. But in future, if something technology goes beyond this, automation is becoming more challenge, and probably it may not be automatable at all. So you know the visual things, right? And things like that. So however, the future of mobile testing is bright. As I said, the 51% of the market is already testing their applications actively, and there are mandates. In case if you are a native application, you have to pass a checklist, and in case of you know, hybrid and web, it is lowered. So you know, the future of mobile testing is bright. You definitely can choose this as an option for your career. What is the level of support done by PEF Dilip Kumar? So yes, once you are interested in PEF, drop an email to the TechGig where we will address it offline with all our in-house solutions with detailed flyers and brochures. And the questions are pouring in. So Sushmita is asking, approach suggests for automation framework ideas in connectivity slide like Bluetooth in Android platform or any other platforms. The question is not very clear to me, however I believe. So the framework, if you look at if you are referring to the back to the features, I was saying Bluetooth and Wi-Fi testing over automation testing over Bluetooth and Wi-Fi for iOS, and you know, for Android it is over IP, physically connected devices. Not sure if I have addressed your question, Sushmita. Sachin Kumar, how automation framework deals with hardware changes of the mobile? It's a good question. There are several hardware changes, and versions of the APIs, the SDKs also would vary based on the hardware. So when you are considering this testing, you know, you might have to identify where exactly in which layer of the defect belongs to, and it becomes more challenging when you find these defects arises in a specific version of a operating system, like Samsung S4 it works, Samsung S3 do not work. So and which leads to a specific API compatibility issue with the applications. So Girish, it's a good question. Yes, definitely. Is Mindtree providing mobile testing services to customers? Yeah, we have a mobile testing practice, which we have a test lab. We have a team, dedicated team for this, which takes care of all these customers in consulting, architecting solutions in and around this. Mindtree is specialized. In fact, we have some of the IDC reports stating it's specialized. Mindtree is specialized in mobile specialists available at Mindtree and so on and so forth. Thanks, Girish. Milind, how reliable Selenium tool is? Can Selenium be used with Internet Explorer? Is it very much easy to use with Mozilla? Yeah, if you're talking about the desktop world, Selenium cross-browser testing, it's the best. There's no doubt. Undoubtedly, it's the best. If you're talking about the question with respect to mobile, then it uses a package which comes within the underlying operating systems. Right. There is Prashant who's asking for hybrid. What is the one you think is the best that you have come across? For hybrid, I would say licensed tools are the best. So, however, keeping the context of the presentation, which is a cost effective, so I would say there are solutions. As I said, WebDriver and Monkey Talk are the good solutions. So I have Dilip with me. Dilip, you have any questions, or you want to take some questions? What is top mobile application testing? By Ankita. So if I understand you correctly, there could be some terminology in various industries how to call it, but definitely you are talking about when your mobile testing, when you don't find P1, P2, P3 defects, you can say stop mobile testing. Right. Aradhana, do you wish to continue more, or can we?
Yes, it seems that we have answered all the questions, all the queries. So if you would like to sum up the session for today, post that we can close the session.
Yeah, definitely. So, as I said, the technology challenges are,
Hello Murli, you are not audible at all. Can you hear me?
that you do a common view across all the smartphones and tablets, a Phablet view. Hello?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now. We kind of
So
lost you.
mobile applications have become essential for companies across all industries. Oh, okay. I would consolidate again if you have lost it. So
Yes, please.
I was saying mobile applications have become essential for companies across all industries, aiming in offering its customers its experience to boost their customer revenues. The developers are challenged with creating the apps necessary for this experience. Testers are challenged to ensure this experience as well. So there's more a sharing of responsibility right from the procurement of the idea generation to the project managers, to the development team, and to the testing team. It's a shared responsibility throughout because of its complex nature. The trends definitely are indicating there will be much more challenges in this area for automation testing. And thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you, Murli. I hope it was a yes. I hope it was an informative session for all the attendees. So if you have any question, you can definitely write into us at techgig.com. Due to time constraint, we will be taking the unanswered questions if there are any on our site, and we would be able to answer all your queries through email. And I'm really thankful to our guest speaker for conducting this wonderful webinar. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Murli, for taking the time out. Have a great evening ahead.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.